more intimidating. No injuries right now. I'm sure there'll be some tomorrow, but there's nothing right now. Go ahead.
What impressed you the most?
I mean, just how we overcame a bunch of stuff. I didn't think we played perfect ball by any means. I thought, which you never do, but I was just happy that the mistakes that we did make, we always overcame. I was real disappointed, getting those first 2 turnovers and not scoring on either of them, having a punt. Then when we get the third turnover, we actually score ourselves on defense, but we have to call it back. And that was strategic so we could let the offense do it. So finally we were able to do one. And then being able to get that fourth one was cool. Let's play complementary football. Took us a while, a little bit back and forth, but once I thought we were playing both well on both sides, that's when the score became what it did.
Would that penalty have not been strategic if you were on the sidelines for it?
What's that?
Would that penalty have not been strategic if you hadn't been one of the ones on the field for it? Or?
Was I one? Yeah. No, I would have been mad at whoever did it. No, I was mad at myself, and I thought the play was over. We couldn't see, and everyone jumped up. And so when that happens, you're getting out there to start to congratulate people coming back, and they're not coming back to congratulate us. They're running back at us. So everyone got it. We know the rule, definitely. We know you can't go on the field. I personally thought the play was over. They ran right by us, and it was very unfortunate because it's a good learning experience for our team. We do show that stuff, but it was short-lived because we ended up scoring. So we can live with it, but good learning example for us.
I'm not sure if you went back to it, but that first play was a 5-man front on defense. Was that something that you had charted out over the bye to kind of set a tone?
No, I think we've mixed that in a little bit throughout the year at times. I think we did it versus Pittsburgh, I want to say, on one of the first couple plays, and I know we did it versus Minnesota, I believe, on Mooney's pick there in the first quarter, I think. So it's something we mix in, and but no, I thought their plan was real good today, and it seemed effective.
What did you think of Nick Bosa today?
I thought he was great. I think Nick's been playing well all year, but for him to get the sack and stuff, cost a turnover. I know how much he loves playing in Florida too. So it was cool to have a big game from him today. Thought all of them played big.
Steve Wilkes on the field and
Sorry, what's that?
What was it like having Steve Wilkes on the field, and how do you think it helped things?
I mean, I ran into him a couple more times. I mean, I hear his voice wherever he is. So I mean, I enjoy him down there. We'll ask the players how they thought. I'm excited to talk to Steve on the plane, see what he felt. But again, that's nothing against you guys or anything, but just I've been coaching a long time, and I think that's one of the most overrated things in the world. So, but I enjoyed him down there today.
What was the thought process on trying to get McCaffrey a touchdown there at the end?
I mean, 18 games in a row is a big record. So, I mean, if we had a chance to do that, I was going to try to do it for him. And it's a little nerve-wracking. Last thing I want to do is get him hurt. But once it was big time for Elijah to run the ball like that to get us down there. Brock and I think Ronnie made a huge third down throw, I believe, that gave us a chance. And once we got close, we told him to stay loose because we were going to try. And got close, wish we could have done it for him. But I think that was a pretty big accomplishment just to do it for 17 games straight.
Did you have to explain that to Doug at all?
Yeah, he was awesome. He said he knew. Right when I saw him, I was like, hey, I hope you know why we're trying to do that. And he was very well aware. He said they were talking about it, so hopefully it didn't offend him too much.
I'm sure people would have, some people in here may have freaked out if McCaffrey got hurt on one of those plays. You were ready to assume the risk and take the heat if that happened.
Yeah, I try to make decisions not based off of having to talk to you after the game. I try to make it on what I think's right for a team. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. But I'm not going to think about you until after the game, so then I can just deal with it.
Has Embry made strides in practice recently that give you the confidence to make that move today?
Yeah, I mean, Embry's been I think Embry's made a lot of strides going back to even training camp and stuff, but it was nothing against anyone in particular. I just wanted to see a Demo in the nickel a little bit, and Demo's got a kind of a knack for that, and it'll be fun to go watch him on the plane and stuff, see how he did. But for us to make that choice, Embry was the next man up outside.
What were your initial impressions of Chase Young's impact?
From what I saw there, it seemed like he had a big impact. I know watching him and Nick there on that same play, I mean, I'll see when I watch the tape, but just having him out there and allowing our rotation to go, and from what it looked like to me, I thought we rushed collectively the best that I had seen. I'll tell you guys tomorrow after I watched it on the plane, but just watching it live on the sidelines, it seemed collectively our group had their best game yet, and that's the goal.
The sequence at the end of the first half, beginning of the second half, I know that you always strive to do that, but could you kind of feel like, could you breathe a little bit easier after that, basically a 10-point possession?
Yeah, that was our first time this year that I felt like we did it right. That we scored on the last play of the second quarter, and we started out with it in the third quarter. So, and then we got that touchdown. So that's what we try to do every week. We were successful this week. It was very nerve-wracking watching them ice our kicker, then the TV network ice our kicker. I didn't know what was going on, but that third kick was a little tight too. But it worked, so glad.
Kyle, on Purdy's first touchdown pass, was that like a no, yes?
Yeah, that was honestly one of, I can say this because he played his ass, played well, but that was like one of his worst decisions I think he's made since he's been here. And it took me a while to get over it. I thanked him for the touchdown, but that was not a good decision, and he was fortunate with it, but he made a lot of really good plays. And if you are going to make a bad decision and it's still a touchdown, in the grand scheme of things, he can tell me it was a real good decision, but I know we can't. He knows that. He knows what he did wrong, but Ayuk made him right.
Spinning it, I guess, positive, which I always want to do.
Of course.
Is the fact that he too many picks, too many bad mistakes by Brock. The fact that that was the first drive, and yeah, he didn't love it, but he obviously still wasn't scared and was still slinging it. Maybe not great, but I mean, does that tell you something that he still wasn't playing scared despite the adversity?
I mean, I think he's been playing the same way all this time, and you don't feel it from him at all. That's why I kind of been, I know he's had some turnovers here and there in our losses, but you ask anyone who's watched all those games and stuff, he was one of the best players on the field in those games, and you're always responsible for those turnovers. But Brock, there's none where you're sitting there saying he's taken too many bad decisions. That was one, definitely. It's going to happen with guys, but I love having a guy who isn't thinking about that. He's trying to make the right decisions, letting it rip, and he'll live with the consequences and try to get better when it's not.
Kyle, without minimizing the other two phases of the game, you guys just held Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence off a bye without scoring. Is it as simple? First, is this what you envision your defense to look like? And second, is it as simple as you guys just winning on early downs inside of the room?
I think it's just playing one game at a time and not getting caught up in anything. They had a bunch of big plays. It seemed like it. I mean, they got they got it going with their screens a number of times. We had some big penalties that hurt us. They had some explosive plays that got down there. Every time it seemed like they got going, our guys just never stopped. And you don't get points till you cross the goal line or you kick it through the uprights. And our guys made so many plays when they were getting down there. They just were relentless today and kept going for that ball. And eventually, everything took care of itself.
How close was the decision on Trent, and how do you think he kind of?
It was real close. I mean, he was adamant that he was going to play, and he was able to do enough to, I'd say, whatever the percentage is, 80 or whatever. But it is tough because last thing I want him to do is go out there and re-injure it or make it worse so he can't play next week. So it was we talked about it a lot, all the coaches and him. We're going to keep a hard eye on him as it went, but I thought he performed well under the circumstances, and the biggest thing was just talking to him there on the sideline. He didn't zing it, got out healthy, and no setbacks, so I don't have to answer Eric's questions.
What did you see on the touchdown to George? It looked like Brock was working with zero room to us and with a line in front of them.
Yeah, I mean, it was the look we were hoping for. It just takes a while. And BA's running the in route and George is running the out route, and it takes a little bit of time to get down the sidelines with the leverage that I believe at 33 had on him. And Brock just tried to wait for it and waited as long as he could. I was so pumped he got it off, but he had to throw with some anticipation, and didn't know if George was going to be able to get to it because he had to bow around a little rub of man coverage, but beautiful touch on the ball. George has the skill set to explode through it, and that was a huge second play of the half for us.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, guys.